We need to be honest with the American people about the problems we face. We need a fact-based budget, no more accounting tricks, no more budget gimmicks, and that is what we are offering the American people.
You bet. No more wars off budget or any stuff like that. Welcome back to The Ed Show. Thanks for watching tonight. The Ryan budget. You know what? It's the blueprint the Republicans have been working towards for over a decade. It's finally on paper, and it is exactly what they want. It's government in a bathtub, budget cuts we have never seen before, and cuts that will affect millions of Americans. I think every American is going to be touched by this budget cut if it were to ever go through. And respectfully, Mr. President, this is more than a haircut. This is a brutal scalping. Ryan and the Republicans want a 10% tax cut for the wealthiest Americans, from 35% down to 25%. Now, hold it right there. When we were in the lame duck session of the Congress, and they wanted to extend the Bush tax cuts, I told you there was more coming, folks. It's an I told you so moment. I told you that the Republicans were ruthless. They weren't going to back down or stop at the Bush tax cuts, that they wanted more. Now it's on paper. Now they want to reduce the corporate tax rate, even for those who don't pay any tax. And now they want to reduce the personal income tax rate for the wealthy in this country from 35 down to 25%. Well, they're going to pay for it by cutting nearly $400 billion from Medicare over 10 years. In the same time frame, they're going to defund Medicaid by $735 billion, and they'll cut discretionary domestic spending by $923 billion. These are beyond Iraq numbers. Now, we're talking about, got to keep the country safe, Homeland Security, FEMA. Hey, Fargo, you worried about a flood? You're not going to get any federal money. EP, the Environmental Protection Agency, man, the Kochs have been after that for a long time. They might get it. Social Security Administration. See, you got to go after the front office so you can really start taking it down and privatize it. Pell Grants for students. What did the students do wrong? Hell, they got born in the wrong place. That's the way the Republicans are shaping this thing up. I mean, they're all on the chopping block in order for the richest Americans out there to get a nice, fat tax cut. Why? Well, hell, they might create more jobs. Under Obama, you believe that? The big targets, of course, of this budget are Medicare and Medicaid. The Republicans want vouchers for Medicare and block grants for Medicaid. They want to throw seniors into the private insurance industry, like raw meat, and they call that premium support? No. That would be premium destruction. And guess what? Another Wall Street ripoff. And they want Medicaid to be classified as a welfare program, even though almost 90% of Medicaid beneficiaries are children, the elderly, and the disabled. More on that later. Paul Ryan says his budget will reduce spending $6 trillion in 10 years. Now think about this. This is after the United States of America has spent over $1 trillion in Iraq in the past 8 years. This is more than a haircut. Ryan wants to be the fiscal conservative poster boy from, ironically, Wisconsin, and yet his entire budget is based on a tax cut for the rich, paid for by the middle class and the poor. I cannot believe that this is where America wants to go. It's a fight that we got to look forward to, because liberals, we are on the correct side of the issue here. We're better than this. But this is the budget that they have wanted for more than a decade. This is what they wanted when Bush was in, but of course they couldn't deliver the mail because some Democrats showed up strong against it. Democrats need to show up strong this time around. The Associated Press now reporting at this hour, 32% of the vote in Wisconsin as we continue to follow the Wisconsin State Supreme Court vote. David Prosser, the incumbent Republican, with 50%, Joanne Kloppenberg with 50%. John Nichols is at the Kloppenberg headquarters for the latest. John, it's heavy turnout tonight, no doubt about it. The numbers very tight at 50-50, have been in that neighborhood all evening. John, what is the game changer here? Where could this election turn as the numbers continue to roll in?
Well, Ed, you take a look at the map of Wisconsin. There are 3 Democratic heartlands, if you will, that are still almost completely out. That's La Crosse County out on the Mississippi River. That's most of Dane County. Roughly 80% of Dane County has not reported yet. That includes the city of Madison. and that's Milwaukee County. Still the overwhelming majority of Milwaukee County not reporting. Now, when they come in, you're going to see a major bump in the Kloppenburg vote. There are also some suburban Milwaukee counties that lean to a more conservative bent. When they come in, you should see some votes for Prosser. My bet is this night is going to stay close, but I will tell you, Ed, that those dramatically high turnouts in Dane County suggests that Kloppenburg has an immense number of votes still coming her way. If this stays 50-50 until those Madison and Dane County votes come in, you may well be looking at a change in this Supreme Court seat.
A lot of out-of-state money on both sides coming into the state, and a lot of grassroots work done from folks who don't live in Wisconsin. How has that been received by Wisconsinites? Obviously, it's having an effect. There's been a record turnout. Or not a record turnout, but a big turnout.
Well, Ed, it will be a record turnout for this sort of race, and we could have as many as 1.5 million people voting, and that compares to under 1 million often in past Supreme Court races. So a big, big bump. Now, the outside spending is in the range, when it's all added up, probably going to be something around $6 to $7 million, unprecedented. So, yeah, it did have an impact. There's no doubt.
John Nichols, Washington correspondent of The Nation. Stay with us. We got a lot more coming up to the top of the hour as we will continue to cover that hot race in Wisconsin. Up next, we'll tell you exactly why Paul Ryan's budget could lead to shorter lives for working class people. Tax expert David K. Johnston and Steelworkers Union President Leo Gerard. They will be here to weigh in on the budget the Republicans have put out. We're right back. Stay with us.